what's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and we've got some NFL plays for you for NFL Sunday, Week 16. We'll just jump right into it. We aren't going to be going too crazy with the demon plays for this video, but I'll mention a couple players that I would boost. But yeah, I haven't made out like a full demon slip like we normally do yet, so we're just going to get right to our regular plays. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop us a like, drop us a comment. If you have any questions about plays, just drop it in the comment section and we'll try to get back to you. And if you have a play that you're excited about, also share it with the community, throw it in the comment section. Shout out to our partners, Underdog, Better, and Parlay Play. Use code BACKDOOR on all of those platforms to get hooked up. Parlay Play is going to give you a 100% deposit match up to $100 and a $5 promo slip to get you started. Plus, we're going to throw in a month in our premium Discord. Just email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com and we will confirm that your username used our promo code, and we'll get you in the Discord within 24 hours. And then for Better, you'll get a $200 deposit match plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. And Underdog is going to give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. Just make sure you use code BACKDOOR, and all of those platforms will hook you up. And all the information is down below if you want to sign up for any of these platforms and diversify your portfolio a little bit.
Shout out Roddy Rich down below.
Yeah. Again, I don't know who that is, but I'm sure everyone
man. I got to put you on.
Yeah. All right. So these are the plays I'm going to be going with. I'm going James Conner fantasy score. I love this matchup against Carolina, so I'm going to be taking that over 18.5 on Prize Picks. Brian Thomas Jr. going with his fantasy score as well. I'm going to be going more than 15 for Brian Thomas Jr. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba. I like his receiving yards at 60.5. I think he's going to go well over that in this matchup. So those are the three basic lines. They're a little bit different on different platforms, but I'll walk you through that when I break down my plays. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking Saquon Barkley for over his longest rush at 17.5. Then I'm taking Austin Hooper for over 21.5 receiving yards. And then I'm taking CeeDee Lamb over 13.5 first quarter receiving yards. I know it sounds a little odd, but these are really good lines, and I'll show you why in a little bit here.
All right. Well, let's see what we got here. Cool. So to get us started, I'll be breaking down this James Conner play. His fantasy score over 18.5. Yeah, it's a little high, but he's got the matchup that, you know, with the Panthers, it's like the juiciest matchup a running back could ask for. 30th in rushing yards allowed, I believe. They're just like super soft as far as like running backs go. Yeah, so 32nd overall. So rushing in general, they're just very bottom of the barrel. So it's a great matchup. And then Trey Benson is also out this game. So feeling good about him being able to get this done. If we take a look at the fantasy score, he has still cleared this in 3 out of his last 5 games. I know he's got this stretch here against Seattle and Minnesota where he didn't get it done, but he ran for, you know, he put up 22.3 fantasy score on the Jets, 22.2 on the Seahawks, and then 30.8 just last week against New England. So now with no Trey Benson and the softest matchup, like the Cardinals should have no problem like getting a lead, maintaining the lead, and he's just I think he's going to get 30 touches in this game. That's kind of the narrative I'm running with. So it says that he hasn't. There's a little note from Outlier. He hasn't exceeded 18.5 fantasy score in 5 straight games on the road. So on the road, he hasn't been playing as good. So keep that in mind. If you don't want to take it, don't take it. But that doesn't concern me. I think he's going to get a heavy workload. So yeah, I'm going to be taking that for more. If we take a look at Daily Grind, they don't like this probably for, you know, it's just, yeah, it's a little expensive, but it's full point PPR. So I think he gets into the end zone at least once in this game. And, yeah, I think he's going to touch the ball, like I said, 25, 30 times. But they've got this favor to go under just slightly, 18.5. They have that at a 52.17% odds to hit the under, minus 109. So yeah, there's plenty of pivot options if you prefer. Like they do like his rushing attempts to go over 18.5. So I think he's going to run the ball at least 19 times. I think he's getting in the end zone. They like him to go over his 84.5 rushing yards. So there are some pivots here if you prefer. They also like this combo here, Chuba Hubbard and James Conner, over 155.5 rushing yards combined. So you have some options if you don't want to take the full fantasy score like I am. Brian Thomas Jr., I'm absolutely going to be taking his fantasy score. This dude has just been popping off. I'm so depressed. I had him on my bench last week. I knew he was heating up, and I didn't put him in. And I would be in the playoffs still if I would have done that, because he put up 32.5 fantasy points on the Jets. Week before that against Tennessee, tough matchup, 16.6. And then 18.7 against Houston, another tough matchup. And this is with Mac Jones throwing him the ball. Surprisingly, he's become a more valuable fantasy asset with Mac Jones at the helm, because Mac Jones is just absolutely, like, he only has eyes for Brian Thomas. Like, if you look at this trend here with the targets, 10, 12, 14. So 14 targets, like that's all you can ask for. So give me the fantasy score. He had 10 receptions. That against the Jets, 10 receptions is 10 points alone on Prize Picks, and then he had 8 against Tennessee. So this is just such a high volume play. I know that this is like a tougher matchup against Las Vegas. 6th in receptions allowed to wide receivers. Let's take a look at what the actual receiving yards matchup looks like. I'm sure it's probably tough too. Yeah, 5th in receiving yards allowed. So it is tough. But he's cleared his receiving line in 4 straight games. Like I said, he's getting a ton of targets, and he got into the end zone twice last week against the Jets, and then got in the end zone a couple weeks before that against Houston. So 14, or was it at 15? Let me double check. 15. Yeah, 15 is not hard in my opinion. Like if he's averaging 8 yards reception, and he gets like 10 yards of reception, which is super low for him, and he gets like 8 receptions, that alone is going to cash that. Let's take a look at what his average yards have been. Yeah, so his average yards per reception over the last 10 games, big sample size, still 14.5 average yards per reception. So like 10 receptions alone without getting into the end zone is pretty much going to be cashing this. But if he gets in the end zone, it's for sure cashed. So I'm going to be taking it definitely for more. And I'm going to go ahead and bump up his receptions as a demon. I told you there's a couple plays that we'll talk about as far as demons go. I haven't built out my slip yet, but Brian Thomas receptions is one that I'll definitely, at least the lowest demon that he has available for receptions. I would consider that maybe the receiving yards, but probably the receptions over the receiving yards. Let's take a look at daily grind. They like his longest reception over 24.5 as his best play. They have that at 51.23% odds to hit the over, -123. And then they have that fantasy score right below it as the second best play. They like it to go over. They have it at 50.45% odds to hit the over. So they're liking it. They actually don't like his receiving yards over 72.5. I think he can clear that as well, personally. But yeah, go with your gut. I think the targets over 9.5 also look good, since he's, what did we say he went for just last week? Let me pull that back up. Yeah, 14, 12, and then 10. So 3 straight weeks of clearing those targets. In fact, I think on Better, I did take his targets, because Better doesn't have, they've got the receiving yards, and then they've got the receptions like as a boosted play. But they don't have the fantasy score alone. So I'm just taking those targets because I think he'll get 10 targets. He's been just so heavily targeted lately. All right, so moving on, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I like just his receiving yards, and we're getting it super cheap on Prize Picks at 60.5. That's so low. If you take a look here, he's cleared this in 7 straight games. Let's take a look at this insight. On top of that, saying he's exceeded 63.5 receiving yards in 4 of his last 5 games at home. So he's averaging 92.4 receiving yards per game at home. So yeah, this is looking really solid. He's another guy who's emerged really heavily over this backstretch of games here. 7 games straight, clearing his receiving yards line. And that's like any of the lines that you're finding, even, up at 68, 68 and a half. Like, he still cleared that in 7 games straight. Now he's got this super soft matchup against Minnesota, 32nd in receiving yards allowed. So teams have just been able to do whatever they want through the air for the most part. I mean, like, I say that, but Chicago couldn't get anything going. And I don't think that it was necessarily because Minnesota played good. I think it's because Chicago played terrible, and Caleb Williams overthrew every one of his receivers by like 15 feet that game. So I don't think that means that Minnesota has like cleaned things up. I think this is still a really soft matchup, and it's an important game for the Seahawks. So it's an important game for both teams. So yeah, I love this matchup. Absolutely going to be taking this. This is another play that I would consider bumping up into a demon, whether it's the receiving yards or the receptions. I actually really like the receptions as a demon play for Jackson Smith and Jigba. For the daily grind DFS optimizer, they like this receiving yards play for him as his best play on the board. They have it at the very top, 51.52% odds to hit the over, -125. And then we've got, let's see, that's all the way up to 63.5 seems like the highest line that some platforms are putting out there, and they're still favoring it to go over. So 60.5 is an awesome deal. Happy to take that. They also like his longest reception over 20.5. If you're looking for a pivot, they have that at a 51.31% odds to hit the over, -124. And then, that's pretty much it. They're not too high on his fantasy score. I think he's going to beat his fantasy score as well, personally. But that receiving yards line at 60.5, even the 63.5, that's so low. I think he's going to just have another game in this soft matchup where he should be able to get it done. All right, so if you guys want to check out Outlier, all you have to do is sign up through the link below. You don't have to put in a code. Just go down to the Outlier link and sign up, and they're going to hook you up with a week to check this out and see how you like it. They cover all these different statistical categories. You can get deep into the details. You can take players in and out of the equation. Super helpful. And you can also look directly at the overall matchup or the specific position of the player you're looking at. And the matchup tab is huge, as well as the injury tab, giving you updated injury reports for whatever game you're checking out. And then the insights tab is also awesome. They just have a bunch of random plays that they want to put on your radar. They'll give you a little note as to why they like it to go over or under, and then they'll point you in the direction of that prop so you can take a closer look at the details of it. So yeah, go ahead and check it out, sign up for a week, and see how you like it. And I'll pass it over to Jordy.
All right. So to get into mine here, hang on, I got to do this, hold this button forever to prove I'm not a robot deal. I don't know why PrizePicks does this, and I can't just do like a little click the images things. This thing takes so much longer. So yeah, crickets while this loads. There we go. Okay, so I'll type in my plays again, but I already know what I'm taking. So Austin Hooper is the receiving yards play here. I like this a lot at 21.5. This looks pretty good to me. Over the last 5 games, he's hit this in 5 straight games here. He's really become a big target for Drake May, and he's looking better and better every week. I know this is a little bit of a tough matchup, 9th to tight ends, but they're still giving up 44 receiving yards, and they're 25th overall in receiving yards allowed. So it's a really solid matchup. And he's gone for 64, 35, 59, 42, 38, and his line set at 21.5. So 2 receptions, and I think he can cash this. He's gone for 3, 4, 4, 4, and 3 receptions over the last 5 games here. So, in the last head-to-head, even before he started really getting all the usage, this was last year when he was on a different team. I think he was at the Raiders, but he went for 20 receiving yards against them. So, not even the same team, not even the same kind of system at all. So he's actually being heavily utilized. And he looks really solid, so I'm all on this. He's actually the 4th most targeted player on the team as the 2nd tight end. They still have Hunter Henry, but Austin Hooper's getting a ton of work. So over these last 5 games, he's gotten a ton of targets. I like this a lot. It's not favored to go over. It's -118, so it's basically a 50-50 shot. So if you don't like it, you don't have to take it at all. Saquon, I like all things Saquon in this game. I think the regular rushing yards looks pretty good. It's at 98.5. This is gonna be a fun game. I think he can hit this no problem too, but just in case he doesn't, this longest rush, he's cashing this like every single week. If you look at this over the course of the year, he's gone over this 11 out of 14 games. So just absolutely killing this. Last time he played Washington, which was in November, he went for 39 on his longest rush. The matchup before that, he went for 36. So he's gonna break one off, right? It's always that, like with him. He's gone for a 34, a 65, a 59, a 55, a 72, a 39. Like, he's breaking off monster runs eventually, and he gets so many attempts that, I mean, in 20 attempts he's surely gonna break off like a 20-yard run. So if he cashes his regular rushing yards, I think he cashes this no problem. And I think there's instances where he cashes this and not his rushing yards. So I like this better. I'm going with the longest rush over 17.5. I like this play a lot. This is actually a super favorite too. It's a minus 128, 52.02% chance. So great line here. If you can find this on other platforms, take it. If you can't, just take the regular rushing. Okay, so moving on, I got CeeDee Lamb's first quarter receiving yards. This looks great too. Over the course of the year, he's done this 10 out of 14 times. Receiving yards allowed, 23rd. So this is going to be a fun matchup. This is the Sunday night game against Tampa Bay. So this is going to be a really fun game. I have CeeDee Lamb and Mike Evans going into this matchup for my fantasy. I'm in the championship game here, so I'm trying to get to the championship. So I really need CD and Mike Evans to go off for me. Lamar and Mark Andrews gave me a great start today, so looking to continue off that. But I think this is cash, man. I mean, he had a 71 receiving yard catch against Cincinnati, even with the banged up shoulder. You know, Carolina, he had a great game against Carolina, but their secondary does not get enough credit. Like, they're actually a pretty solid secondary. So this is at 14 yards. Like, CeeDee Lamb going for 14 yards in the first quarter, I think this is no problem. So he gets a lot of love in the first quarter. So I think they're going to get him going early. Like last game, they had 13 targets. I think we see something very similar. I think he gets 2 or 3 catches in the first quarter. So I'm going to be taking this over 13.5 in the first quarter. Can't find this. Just take his regular receiving at 73. It looks so good too. Great matchup for him. So that is going to cover all my plays. They don't have the first quarter receiving on here, but his regular receiving yards are favored to go over. It's just a 50-50 shot, 119. So liking that. If you want to check out the optimizer from Daily Grind, definitely go check it out. It's awesome. As you see, I could punch in the name for CeeDee Lamb here. If I take that away, it'll show you all the top value on the board. Here are some of the plays if you want to take a look at them. You can just scroll through and pause if you want to look at some of these. Insane value, top plays, Adam Thielen, Trey McBride, receiving yards over 127. It's a 57% chance to hit, so pretty juiced odds there, minus 134. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun day of football tomorrow. If you want to check out this full optimizer and, you know, take advantage of it for this slate tomorrow, go to dgfantasy.com and use code BACKDOOR for 25% off your first purchase. And Chalkboard is another daily fantasy app like Prize Picks and Underdog, but you can bump lines up and down over there. It's a lot like Parlay Play, where you can move the lines around, but they have really, really good multipliers over there. Honestly, I really enjoy playing Chalkboard, so definitely go check them out. Use code BACKDOOR over there as well for 100% match up to $100 and a free play to help you cash your first slip. And that's going to cover it all for me.
All right. Well, yeah, I pulled up just a couple of demon plays that I kind of like, that I feel confident in, actually, you know, that I'll end up throwing into a slip. So I don't have like a full slip here, but some of these plays that I already took, like Jackson Smith and Jigba, I love this like 6.5 receptions demon that they have. That's the lowest option for the demon reception lines go. But they also, I would take the 7.5. I think he's going to go for, I mean, like, it's not unusual for him to go for 8 receptions in a game lately, and this is a really soft matchup. Trey McBride, 7.5. That's just another week for Trey McBride. This guy is constantly going for 8 to 12 receptions week in, week out. Now he's got relatively soft matchup in Carolina. But I mean, Carolina's been getting things a little bit figured out on offense, which is nice. So hopefully this game doesn't turn into just like a straight up blowout. But yeah, I think that this will be competitive enough to where Trey McBride will get his at least 8 receptions. So I'm comfortable taking that demon. And then Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, I mean, like 7.5 receptions all day. I would bump this all the way up to like 8.5, even if there's a 9.5. Like, I would be comfortable throwing it into a slip. Obviously, it's harder to hit any demon, any demon play. So, but that being said, yeah, he's gone for, he's been getting like a ton of love from Mac Jones, like we said before. But the Vegas is somewhat tough. So keep that in mind. So 7.5, I think, is the lowest they had for him. So I'd take that, but I'm just saying, I think he could go for, 9 or 10 receptions in this game. But yeah, that's just a few right there. I'll be posting more into our Discord too. So, let's see. Speaking of the Discord, if you guys want to come join us, you can take advantage of that parlay play promo we talked about. Just email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com, and we'll confirm that the code was used, and then we'll get you in. If you want to just join, though, you can sign up through Patreon. And Patreon is just what we use to manage the subscriptions. You go into the settings once you've signed up there, and there's a connected apps option in the menu bar. And then you just log right into your Discord from there. If you want to follow us on social media, we're just at BackdoorFS on X, TikTok, and Instagram. We also have our personal socials down below if you want to follow us. But guys, good luck on this Sunday slate. Sorry we didn't have like a full demon breakdown like we normally do. We just haven't had the time, and I'm starting to get sick now too. So just kind of like getting through the regular plays, and I'm gonna go to bed. And I will build out a demon play though, and I'll throw it in the Discord before tomorrow. So have a great Sunday, guys. Good luck on everything, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.